कर्माणि यानि दिव्यानि महादेवस्य धीमतः तानि ते कीर्तयिष्यामि यथा प्रज्ञं यथा श्रुतं न सुरा नासुरा लोके न गंधर्वा न राक्षसाः. And then he after describing the attributes, very beautiful characteristics of Lord Shiva, and then he goes on to describe the leelas of Lord Shiva. This is where he talks about various things. We'll be seeing. I'll be taking only one leela because it's already 1 hour. So he's going to talk about Daksha Yajnam, which is very interesting. And then who all he Mahadeva destroyed, and what did Surya do? We are going to see that. Surya does an interesting thing in the sacrifice, and how Mahadeva destroys his ahankara. So karmani yani, I will now tell you, oh Arjuna, oh dear Arjuna, Vyasa says, I will now tell you to the level of knowledge that I have, because no one can understand Mahadeva completely. Even Brahma and Vishnu are still searching for the feet of Lord Shiva. Haradatta Shivacharya says, when Mahadeva appears in front of him, along with Parashakti, Ganapati, Kartikeya, and Nandi, oh Mahadeva, even Vishnu is not able to find your feet. Even still, Vishnu is searching for your feet. That is a fact. Haradatta Shivacharya says to Lord Shiva. And even Vishnu accepts that in Padma Puranam and Narada Puranam. Varsha koti sagasram tu sagasrabdair atanvakam bhaktya sampujitopisha padono darshitastvaya. For crores and crores of years I have been searching for your feet, O Lord Shiva. You have not manifested that to me. O Mahadeva, please, when will I be able to see your feet? Narada Puranam Purva Bhagam, 79th chapter, 139th verse. Padma Puranam Patala Kandam, 114th chapter, 190th verse. It's present in both the Puranas. Padma Puranam, even the other Puranas, we don't need to go to Shiva Purana or Linga Purana or Skanda Purana for Shiva Mahima. All the Puranas talk only about Lord Shiva. Be it Padma or Narada or Kurma or Varaha or Vamana or Matsya, etc., etc., etc. And then to the level of knowledge that I have, O Arjuna, I'm going to talk about the divine deeds of divine glories, that is the divine leelas of Lord Shiva. So till now I have described the characteristics, divine features of Lord Shiva that one should focus on to attain liberation. Now I'm going to describe the leelas of Lord Shiva. And then Nasura Nasura Loke. Mahadeva, if Mahadeva becomes angry, Mahadeva's anger is glorified beginning of Rudram. He says, Vyasa says, if Mahadeva becomes angry, even, Devatas, na Sura. Sura means the Devatas. Asura means the Danavas, that is the Rakshasas, demons. Even the Devatas, Danavas, anybody, they cannot escape. Even if they go and hide in a deep ocean, they cannot escape from Mahadeva's anger. Mahadeva can find you even if you go and try to hide anywhere. Mahadeva is Jagat Pita. Jagataha Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwara. He is the Lord of Jagat. Isha Vasyamedagam Sarvam. Even if you go and hide anywhere, he can find you. So even the Danavas and Devatas cannot escape from Mahadeva's anger. Even if they go and hide deep in an ocean, they cannot have peace. He makes that point, peace. Om Shambhave Swaha, Om Shankaraya Swaha, Om Shantaya Swaha. This is the Achamanam, that is in the shrouthashaivasiddhanta. Shanta is one of the names of Lord Shiva. Shanta means peace, the one who grants that ultimate peace. Tat prasadat param shantam sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. He is the grantor of the ultimate peace. Mahadeva alone can grant that ultimate peace. We can go behind some kind of temporary pleasures. We can gain pleasures by, attaining name, fame, wealth, knowledge through sex. But all these are temporary. Mahadeva alone can grant that ultimate pleasure, ultimate wisdom, or ultimate peace. Serving the feet of Mahadeva and Parashakti eternally is the ultimate peace. That's how one can get liberated. So, Shanta. So, he says, if Mahadeva gets angry, no one can be peaceful. If Mahadeva is peaceful, then everybody will be peaceful. This again is told by Krishna in Sauptika Parvam of Mahabharata to Yudhishthira and all the other Pandavas. So, That's where, and then he quotes, goes on to say, in days of yore, he quotes about Daksha Yajnam. Sukamedanti kupite tasminnapi guhagataha dakshasya yajamanasya vidivat sambritam pura vivyada kupito yajnam nirdayastva bhavattada dhanusha bana mutsrijya sagosham vinanadacha. In days of yore, Daksha performed a sacrifice, O Arjuna. And then he had collected all the necessary articles for performing the yajnam. And then Mahadeva destroyed the Daksha yajna. Mahadeva did not come to destroy. Mahadeva, he pulled one of his hair lockets. And then Veerabhadra appeared and then he went and destroyed the Daksha Yajna because we see that he was not invited. Lord Shiva is the king of all the sacrifices. Avo Rajana Madvarasya. And Mahadeva did not do this out of Ahankara. Daksha was in Ahankara. Mahadeva is the destroyer of tamas. Mahadeva is the destroyer of ego within the Devatas and Danavas like Brahma, Vishnu, and Indra and Daksha. He is not bound by ego. He is the king of sacrifices. The Vedas itself say the yajnam will not attain completion without Mahadeva. Avo Rajana. You just, if you do try to do something in a country without inviting, if you without inviting the king, no, it is an insult, right? It is an insult to the king. No, how will whatever you do, how it will attain completion? You have to inform the king, right? Likewise, Mahadeva is described as the king of sacrifices. So he is the ultimate Lord. And without inviting, he performed the yajnam. How can how it will attain completion? Dadichi Maharshi also will come and curse this yajna. That again, this story, this Daksha Yajnam, guys, Mahabharatam itself, it is told multiple times. This is one place. And again, in the Shanti Parvam, 284th and 85th, 284th and 285th chapter, this Vivaranam is done. This Vivaranam of Daksha Yajnam is done. Where another, the story of Daksha Yajnam told in a different kalpa, where Parvati Mata and Parameshwara both are there. Parvati Mata and Parameshwara looks upon. This is a different kalpa. This doesn't talk about Sati Mata, but where Parvati Mata actually expands as like she creates her power Mahakali, and then Parameshwara creates his power Veerabhadra, and Veerabhadra and Mahakali go and destroy the Daksha Yajna. Even Brahma and Vishnu were not able to face. And in that chapter, very beautifully, Dadichi Maharshi comes and curses Daksha. Oh, Ahankari Daksha, you have not invited the Lord of the sacrifices. That I regard no one as the supreme reality apart from Mahadeva. So this sacrifice that you are conducting without inviting Parashakti and Paramashiva will be destroyed in course of time. Because Daksha would reply in Ahankara, I do not know, oh Dadichi, I do not know about the personality that you're talking about. I don't know who is Mahadeva. I don't know who is Mahadeva. That much amount of audacity he had. And then he would curse and then he would face the wrath of Veerabhadra. So that's why in the beginning also we say, oh Mahadeva, please invoke the arrow and then, on our enemies. Please destroy our enemies. Don't, don't invoke the arrow against us. That's a beautiful meditation that we saw before, how Kartikeya beautifully glorifies Lord Shiva. So, and then Tena Sharma Kutak Shantim Lebhire Sma Surastada Vidrute Sagasa Yajne Kupite Cha Maheshware. Again, very relatable, very beautiful again. Here it says the sacrifice, Kratu. Kratu means sacrifice. Indra is called as Shatakratu, the person who had performed 100 sacrifices. And that's how he obtained the post of Indra. So likewise, Brahma and Vishnu are also positions. Indra, just like Indra. So Kratu, that sacrifice itself took a bodily form, took an embodied form, and after seeing Veerabhadra, it ran away. The sacrifice took an embodied form and ran away, seeing the ferocious form of Veerabhadra. Because the king of sacrifice had not been invited to the this place. And how come the sacrifice will happen? So the sacrifice itself got into fear and then it ran away, taking an embodied form. And then Mahadeva, Veerabhadra appeared and punished the sacrifice. And also like the gods became frightened. Tena jyata lagoshena sarve lokak samakulaha babuvur vashagah partha nipetuscha surasuraha. Oh Partha, Partha is a reference to Arjuna. Oh Partha, even the Devatas and Danavas, they submitted. They, fearing the twang of Mahadeva's bow. Mahadeva doesn't need to invoke the arrow by hearing the twang of Mahadeva's bow. Just by, if you pull the string in the bow, you will hear a sound. Hmm? So, by hearing that sound itself, they got frightened. Oh, Lord Shiva, Mahadeva, please don't do anything to us. And then they surrendered to Lord Shiva. That's where Rudram also comes into play, where the Devatas worship Lord Shiva, out of fright. It's not that Mahadeva is anger personified. Mahadeva takes. This is where Srikantaradhya comes to our rescue very beautifully. Srikantaradhya is the Stapanacharya of the Shiva Vishishtadvaita Sampradaya in the first canto, that is first adhyayam, fourth padam, 29th sutram. He clarifies this very clearly because an objection is raised and then he gives the answer. So is Mahadeva anger personified? How can the supreme reality get angry? So that question is raised, and then Shrikanta Radhya beautifully replies, Mahadeva is not bound by anger. He's beyond kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. But he takes those anger personified forms to punish the wicked. Only to punish the wicked, he takes those forms. He appears in his Ugra Amsha, Sharabeshwara, to destroy the Ahankara of Narasimha. And then his partial Amshas, Kala Bhairava and Veerabhadra, also appear to destroy. Veerabhadra appears to destroy the Daksha Yajna, and then Kala Bhairava also appears to destroy the Ahankara of Brahma, and he is also the guardian of the Shakti Peeths, 51 Shakti Peeths. Kala Bhairava, who is an Amsha, who is a partial Amsha of Mahadeva, not the complete Amsha. Because Kala Bhairava and Veerabhadra also are described as Shiva Ganas only. So that mistake is again a lot of people do. Veerabhadra, okay, they say Shiva himself. Veerabhadra is a Shiva Gana, because Veerabhadra, when he appeared and then he worshipped, he fell at the feet of Lord Shiva, and then, oh Mahadeva, I am your son. Since I am born from you, since I am born from your Jata, I am your son. So please tell me what I have to do. I am going to, um, take your order seriously, and then please tell me what to do. So he is waiting for the Lord Shiva's order. So Lord Shiva and Veerabhadra are different. Veerabhadra is a Shiva Gana, not Shiva himself, but he has the prowess of Lord Shiva. So Shiva Gana himself was destroyed everybody, destroyed the Yajna, destroyed Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. Veerabhadra swallowed the Sudarshana Chakra. Even the Sudarshana was not, Veerabhadra was able to withstand, even the Sudarshana was not able to do anything to Veerabhadra. So Shiva Gana itself is required just to destroy all the Devatas and Danavas. Mahadeva doesn't need to come. Likewise, there is a beautiful story in Padma Purana where Veerabhadra's glories are beautifully described. Veerabhadra is on the Bhuloka, and then he looks at, a Shiva Vigraha, a seat, because we usually offer all the Shodashopachara, that is the 16 Upacharas for Lord Shiva, Roop, Dupam, Deepam, Padam, Dupam, Deepam, Argyam, and all these things. So one of the Upacharas that we have to offer is offering a seat, offering a place to sit for Lord Shiva. So, and then he saw, oh, Lord Shiva's Vigraha is present without a seat, he has not offered a seat. And then he started destroying the universe, Veerabhadra. He started destroying everything till Tapolokam. And beyond that is Vaikuntham and Brahmalokam. He was about to destroy that. And by that time, all the Devas, including Brahma and Vishnu, they go and fall at the feet of Mahadeva. Your dear son, your son is actually destroying Veerabhadra. Your partial manifestation, Veerabhadra, is destroying all the universes just because you are not offered a seat. So please stop him. And then Mahadeva says, oh Veerabhadra, you don't need to take this seriously. Please stop destroying everything, and then everything will come back to normal. So that's the prowess of a Shiva Gana. I just quoted this because the Shiva Gana's prowess is like that. And this also, like, it's an offense to Lord Shiva. He takes that seriously. So we can learn a lot of things from, Shiva Bhaktas. He takes that seriously. It's an offense because it is a great offense not offering a seat for Lord Shiva. How can you, make Lord Shiva to sit, on the floor without offering him a seat? So he takes that seriously, and then so those kind of things we can learn from Shiva Bhaktas. We don't have the prowess to destroy the universes. We don't want to do that also. But I'm saying that Veerabhadra's affection, which shows the Veerabhadra's affection and Veerabhadra's love for Lord Shiva. And then he was the hero of the Daksha Yajna. And then even the sacrifice fled away. And then everybody submitted, the Devas and Danavas submitted themselves to Lord Shiva. And then आपश्चुक्षुभिरे सर्वांश्चङ्कपे च वसुन्धरा पर्वताश्च व्यशीर्यन्त दिशो नामाश्च मोहिताः अन्धेन तमसा लोका न प्रकाशन्त संवृताः जग्निवांसः सूर्येण सर्वेषां ज्योतिषां प्रमाः. He says very beautifully, Vyasacharya, all the waters swelled up in agitation and the earth trembled. So these kind of things we watch in movies, and these kind of things we watch in, the dramas, right? But this is actually really has happened. Vyasacharya quotes that to Arjuna. When Mahadeva became angry, all the waters swelled up in agitation. And the earth started trembling. The mountains started splitting. With all the points of compass, all the directions, they did not know what to do. And all the Nagas became stupefied. Everybody were shaking. And Andakaram, Andam Tamaha Pravishanti, Ishavasya Upanishad says. Andakaram means darkness. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. You can destroy darkness by, with light only. That Lord Shiva is the ultimate supreme reality who can give the knowledge of liberation. Andena tamasa loka, all the lokams went into darkness and could no longer be seen. And Jagnivansaha Suryena, Surya was destroyed. Sarvesham Jyotisham Prabhaha. Surya was also trembling. In that, if you see, Chakshubir Bhayabhitascha Shantim Chakrus Tataivacha Rishayak Sarvabhutanam Atmanascha Sukaishinaha. Even the rishis were frightened completely. They did not know what to do. And then here only Surya comes. Pushanam Abhyadravata Shankarah Prahasanniva Purodasham Bhakshayato Dashanan Vai Vyashatayat. Surya was trying to, acquire. If you do a yajna, you get something in return. And that, that is given by Lord Shiva only ultimately. So the sacrificial oblation, so that Surya was trying to acquire that, the returns that you get from yajna, he was trying to acquire, he was trying to eat that. That's what it says here. And then he was trying to acquire that, whatever you acquire by doing a yajna, he was trying to do that in order to acquire more power. And then Mahadeva, he smiled. Veerabhadra just smiled at him, and then he tore his teeth. So the Vrata, he tore his teeth. And then Mahadeva, once more, he aimed at the gods, aimed at the Devatas with his arrow. As beautifully described by Kartikeya, he was stringing his arrow. He was stringing the thread of the bow along with the arrow until his ears, and he was about to shoot his arrow, with Parvati Mata placing the hand on his shoulders very beautifully. And then all the devatas, they surrendered, and then they started chanting Shatarudriyam. This is also told in the Vamana Puranam, first canto, 5th chapter. Every Puranam talks about attributes Shatarudriyam. There are some 100 to 200 references attributing Shatarudriyam only for Lord Shiva. The Veda Saram, Vidyasu Shrutirutkrishta Rudra Ekadashini Shrutau. In the Shruti, in the Vedas, the Rudram part is the essence of all the Vedas. There is not a hymn that is equal to Rudram. Just by chanting Rudram, one gets the credit of chanting all the Vedas in a proper way. With applying Bhasma, Rudraksha, Vibhuti all over the body, and then Tripundra on the forehead, and then worshipping Mahadeva. And then Saduman Sasfullingamscha Vidyuttoya Dasanniban Tam Drishtva tu Surah Sarve Pranipatya Maheshwaram. After that, everyone realized, oh, Mahadeva is the ultimate, and then they Pranipatya, oh, Pranipat, Mahadeva, we surrender to you. After the, and then and then Vyasa says, even till this day, They are afraid of, all the devatas are afraid of Maheshwara. And this, everybody are in the Maya of Maheshwara. Mayam tu prakritam vidyam mayinam tu Maheshwaram, 410 Shvetashvatara Upanishad. No one can go beyond Maheshwara Maya. आदवन्ते च मध्ये च भाससे नान्यहेतुना मायया मोहिताः शम्भोर्महादेवं जगद्गुरुं न जानन्ति सूराः सर्वे सर्वकारणकारणम्. No one can understand that Paratpara Maheshwara, the supreme of the supreme Maheshwara, because even the Devas and Danavas, even the Devas like Brahma, Vishnu are under his Maya. So all the Devas were, including Daksha and Brahma and Vishnu, were under the Maya of Maheshwara, O Arjuna. He says that, and then he ends that Daksha Yajnam episode. And then he goes on to quote another Leela, which we will be seeing tomorrow. So tomorrow again there will be class. We'll be continuing with the divine Leelas of Lord Shiva that is shared by Vyasa to Arjuna in the last chapter of the Drona Parva. I'll chant the Kshama Prarthana mantra and we can take up some questions. ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव परमेश्वर नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व परमेश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष परमेश्वरी अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष परमेश्वर एतत् सर्वं श्री उमामहेश्वर परब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु ललिताम्बिके साम्ब शिवार्पणमस्तु श्रीमति गौरी समेत साम्ब शिवार्पणमस्तु श्रीमति गायत्री समेत साम्ब शिवार्पणमस्तु करचरणकृतं वाक्कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसं वा परातं विहितम् अविहितं वा सर्वम् एतत् क्षमस्व जय जय करुणाब्दे श्रीमहादेव शम्भो माता च पार्वती देवी पिता देवो महेश्वर बन्धवा शिवभक्तांश्च स्वदेशो भुवनत्रयं साम्ब शिवाय नमः साम्ब शिवाय नमः साम्ब शिवाय नमः हर ओं तत्सत्